This house that you see right behind me is called the Chatrian home. Today it serves as an Airbnb, but more than 100 years ago, it housed two women who will make an impact right here in the town of Grand Coteau during a time when people of color struggled to survive. I'm Paris Flanagan, your Silent Parish reporter, and for Black History Month, I'm going to introduce to you Madame Teresa Chatrian and Mary Louise Charles, two women who conquered racism.
Oh, Miss Louise was a character. She was a very nice old lady, smart, but don't rub her the wrong way, because she would let you know what was going on.
Tucked inside the town of Grand Coteau is the Chatrian home, said to be built in the early 1800s. Inside are keepsakes, treasures with sentimental meaning. They once belonged to Mary Louise Charles.
And she would take care of everything over here. They had pecan trees, they had fig trees.
92-year-old Myrtle Lewis recalls the time her children would come and pick up pecans and figs from the home.
I knew her. I knew all her brothers.
Where her dear friend Mary Louise lived.
Never was married. And she lived here with Madame. That was her mother.
At 19 years old, Mary Louise Charles came to Grand Coteau after the 1927 flood with her father, mother, and 7 brothers and sisters, seeking refuge at the Chatrian house owned by this family, Madame Teresa and her husband Theodule Chatrian, farmers who did sharecropping and owned land. They would travel and work deeply with religious groups around Grand Coteau, and Mary would quickly adapt. What type of life did she live?
She couldn't write and she couldn't read. A settled life, just a settled life. She'd go to church. She loved it to go to church.
Mr. and Mrs. Chatrian, and they asked her if she'd like to work and help them. It was mainly in the bakery, in the kitchen. And she said yes. So when her family went home, she stayed. And she never left.
Mary would bake, sew, cook, quilt, pray, and clean. She also spent a lot of time honoring her faith with family priests. One of them was Father Cornelius Tinstead. Madame Teresa and Mary Lou formed a deep bond. After Madame Teresa passed away in the late 70s, Mary Lou soon learned that her life would change forever.
And of course, Miss Chatrian became ill, and Mary Charles took care of her. And at that time, when she did pass, in the will, it stated that Mary Charles would inherit this home, approximately 25 acres, cattle, and there was a checking account.
During a time when two worlds were divided through race and injustice, there was something stronger that brought both worlds together, leaving Mary Lou with a prized possession most people of color would never see during this period.
By the way she stood by Madame and took care of her all those years, I mean, it was just, it was bonded, it was love between those two.
Now, Mary Lou Charles passed away at the age of 101 back in 2010. The home is now owned by Deborah Cimarol and her husband. If you want to learn more about this story, you can head on over to our website at ktc.com. Reporting in Grand Coteau, I'm Paris Flanagan, your Silent Parish reporter, KTC TV3.